All right, hello folks. Let me show you what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about examining some data that you found online, looking at the metadata, looking at the information, trying to determine if this is indeed a good data set for you to use. So in this example, we have a student who is interested in crime data for the United States, like mapping out which areas of the US have more of certain types of crimes, which have less. So we found this data set, and I'm not going to go over how we found it, but it's in a database at the University of Michigan. And you can look through your data on a web page and see some basics about it so that you can understand if this might be a good data set for you to use. So oftentimes your data set has a lot of technical jargon associated with it, but you can look for those contextual clues that are making it clear to you if this is good data for you or not. So Uniform Crime Reporting Program Data, county level detailed arrest and offense data, US 2016. Okay, so that tells us we're talking about county level data, arrests and offenses, and for the year 2016, and it's covers the United States. So that's a pretty good sign that this might be a good data set for us to use. It seems pretty current. It covers the United States at a county level, which seems doable in terms of mapping. So you can take a look then at a glance here at the project description to tell more about that, how this data was made, the metadata, how was it created, who created it, when was it created, et cetera, et cetera. And most data sets you're going to get off the web are going to have some kind of web page like this. It's going to look different. You know, each data source, each database that has data on it has a little bit different interface, but if you look closely and keep on clicking around, you will find useful information about how this data set was put together, what's in it, et cetera, et cetera. In this case, we have some pretty good metadata. You can look at the summary. So it tells you that this is county level arrests and offenses for certain types of offenses, Part 1 offenses, Part 2 offenses. You know, you'd want to look at that if you were only interested in a particular type of crime, like auto theft, for example. You want to make sure that was on the list, right? And then it tells you under the citation section here who created it: U.S. Department of Justice, FBI. And then working with this inter-university consortium for political and social research. That's who's distributing it here. That's this part of this website. So this is pretty good information. It also tells you who funded it. And then you can look at these other tabs to see more information about the data. So this shows you what are all the files included in the data. You can preview these. So you can look at the code book, for example. You can look at some documentation. If you see something that says read me, that's a good sign that maybe you should read it. You can, look through these different folders and see. You can also download them individually. You can also look at variables. So what are the variables that they measured when they collected this data? So this is all the different variables that are included in this data set, along with what their shortened name is in the table that you're gonna see in a minute. So this tells you all the different variables and what their labels are. You can look at data related publications. So like who has published something from this data. So this is some journal articles that relate to this data, that use this data as part of their research, okay? and you can export the metadata. So that allows you to export this information for use in various types of databases. In this case, we want to download the data. So that's what we're going to do next. And I'm going to talk about what our download options are and how to download and unzip the data that we need. All right, thanks very much. I will get back to you in the next video.